The Morales mansion loomed like a glass cathedral against the winter night. Panels of smart glass shimmered with digital wreaths, programmed snowflakes tumbling endlessly in golden loops. A line of hovercars hummed along the drive, each one streaming its owner's status score in sharp holographic text above the hood. Alex Morales stood at the edge of the property, collar up, watching as guests strode past the sensors that flared recognition. Mariana Morales, Corporate VP, score 96. Bradley Morales, Partner, International Finance, score 94. Each one a badge of achievement, each one designed to sparkle. Alex's own lenses pulsed faintly. Welcome, Alex Morales. Status score hidden by choice. It was an act of defiance, though no one in this family would ever see it that way. To them, it would only confirm what they already believed. Alex had nothing worth showing. Inside, warmth struck like a wave. The entryway was all marble and light, curated to dazzle. Holographic cherubs sang above the stairwell. Fireplaces hummed with synthesized flame. Perfumed drones released bursts of spiced vanilla. Laughter echoed from the dining hall. "Alex!" Mariana swept forward, glittering in a gown cut like liquid metal. Her belly was just beginning to round with pregnancy, and she made sure to angle herself so every arriving relative could notice. Her smile carried the sharpness of polished steel. "You made it!" "I wasn't sure you'd bother." Alex unclasped their coat slowly, hanging it on the chrome rack. "Wouldn't miss it." Mariana's gaze flicked downward, scanning Alex's plain black suit. "No display tonight?" she asked, nodding at the absence of projection. "I like my privacy." "Privacy?" Her laugh chimed, light but calculated to carry. That's what people say when they don't have numbers. She tapped her bracelet and her 96 flashed in the air, brighter than necessary. Several cousins glanced over, smirking. Alex's mouth twitched into a half smile. Silence was safer than any retort. The dining hall stretched like a stage, table glittering with AR-enhanced crystal, every glass programmed to refract light in impossible prisms. At the head sat Evelyn Morales, silver hair sculpted into a crown, her own score pulsing gold at 98. Her empire, 3 children, 9 grandchildren, all molded into weapons of achievement. "Ah!" Evelyn's voice carried down the table as Alex entered. "I thought perhaps you'd declined." "Again, I wouldn't dream of it," Alex said, careful to keep the tone neutral. "No seat left?" Evelyn surveyed the table, pretending surprise, though every chair was clearly filled. Well, you can be useful instead. Fetch more wine from the garage. You remember where it is." A ripple of laughter skittered along the table. Someone muttered, "Finally, a task within reach." Alex inclined their head, pulse hammering. "Of course." They turned sharply and walked out, the echo of laughter sticking to their back like static. The garage was a cathedral of cold air. Rows of autonomous cars rested in silence, lights blinking faintly like slumbering eyes. Wine racks lined one wall, bottles tagged with digital inventory. Alex gripped one at random, leaning against the sleek hood of a sedan as their breath fogged in the chill. Humiliation was nothing new. Evelyn had mastered the art of cutting them down with a smile, as if cruelty were a form of tradition. Alex flexed their hand around the bottle's neck, imagining for a moment shattering it, then set it gently aside. Revenge, yes. Violence, never. A voice behind them. "So this is where they keep the black sheep?" Alex turned. A figure leaned against the doorway, tall and self-assured. Jordan Vega. The AR tag above their head shimmered faintly. Status score, private, like Alex, hidden. "Best spot in the house," Alex said dryly. Jordan stepped in, smirk tugging at their mouth. "Depends. You like frostbite with your champagne? Better than choking on second-hand arrogance at the table." That earned a laugh. Warm, unforced. Jordan plucked a bottle from the rack, studying it like it was far more interesting than the gala. "You don't look like someone who belongs in the garage." "Funny," Alex said. "My family would disagree." Jordan's gaze lingered, sharp and curious. "I like things unexpected." Something flickered in the air. Not melodrama, just a charge, a static heat that made Alex's chest tighten. They cleared their throat, lifted the bottle, and headed back toward the light. The table was alive when Alex returned, wine bottle in hand. Cousins' voices overlapped, each trying to dominate. AR projections hovered above their plates, income charts, vacation reels, endorsements. A holographic feed replayed Mariana's baby announcement on loop, like an ad campaign. Bradley, broad-shouldered and smug, leaned back with his glass. "Closed a 50 million credit deal last quarter. Thinking of upgrading to the solar yacht. What about you, Alex? Still freelancing? Still tinkering?" Laughter followed. Alex set the bottle down carefully. "Something like that. Maybe next year you'll have a score worth showing." Bradley raised his glass in mock toast. A dozen eyes pinned Alex. Silence pressed. Alex let it hang a moment, then gave the smallest smile. "Maybe." Jordan caught their gaze from down the table, one brow lifted, mouth quirked. Amusement, not pity. Alex felt the corner of their own lips twitch back. Conversation roared on. Carmen, another cousin, flicked her hair and projected her new follower stats. 2 million on Hyperlink this month. Brand deals pouring in. "That's adorable," Mariana purred, "though real power isn't followers. It's legacy." She rested a hand on her stomach, making sure the gesture was captured by every lens in the room. Evelyn clapped delicately. "Yes, Mariana understands. Family continues through strength, not novelty," Bradley chimed in, "unlike some of us." Alex, still no partnerships, no investors, not even a side project. Alex's fork pressed too hard against porcelain, scraping. They forced a calm breath. "I prefer privacy." "Privacy," Evelyn echoed, voice heavy with disdain. "That's what people say when they have nothing." Jordan leaned forward smoothly. "Privacy can be powerful. Not everything worth having is meant for display." The table shifted, uneasy. Evelyn's eyes narrowed slightly, but she moved the spotlight elsewhere. Alex's pulse calmed. Jordan's words hung in the air like a shield. Hours slid. The food gleamed untouched beneath the family's hunger for approval. Evelyn orchestrated the boasting like a conductor. Bradley bragged again about his yacht plans. Carmen flaunted endorsements. Mariana received endless praise for her future child. Every time Alex's name surfaced, it was as a punchline. "Remember when Alex tried to launch that app? What was it called? Oh, gone already. Still living in that tiny loft, right?" Each jab was met with Alex's silence, lips curved in the faintest smile. If they knew the truth, if they saw the scale of what Alex had built in secret, the laughter would curdle, but not yet. The reveal had to come in its own time. From the corner, Jordan watched, eyes glinting with interest rather than contempt. It was a look Alex wasn't used to, a look that warmed something deep and quiet inside. Dessert arrived, glittering confections printed from sugar matter, designed more for show than taste. Evelyn raised her glass. A toast. To success, legacy, and to the Morales family name, Crystal clinked. Bradley grinned, voice loud. "And to those of us carrying it forward." Some more than others, his eyes slid to Alex. Mariana added sweetly, "Still, we're glad you're here, Alex." It wouldn't be Christmas without everyone, even everyone laughter again. Alex let it wash over. They focused on the wine glass in their hand, the reflection of golden light. They inhaled slow, steady. The sting hurt, yes, but there was power in restraint. Jordan leaned closer, their voice pitched low, almost lost in the chatter. "You're not even playing the same game, are you?" Alex's head turned slightly. "What game?" Jordan's smile curved, private. "Theirs. Titles, points, bragging rights. You're holding something else." "I can see it." Alex said nothing. but their lips twitched in the smallest acknowledgement. The night pressed on. The air thickened with status, with Evelyn's watchful eyes, with Cousin's relentless boasting. For every humiliation, Alex answered with silence, a faint smile, or nothing at all. But inside, the pressure built, coiling tight. They could end this tonight. With a word, with a reveal, the entire family hierarchy could collapse. But no, not yet. Let them laugh, let them sharpen their barbs. Revenge was sweeter when it arrived, dressed not in violence, but in undeniable truth. For now, Alex raised their glass with the rest, eyes steady, hiding a secret like a blade in silk. And across the table Jordan's gaze lingered, heat sparking like a promise. And across the table Jordan's gaze lingered, heat sparking like a promise. The Morales dining hall glittered with too much light, every surface polished to mirror brightness. Evelyn presided at the head like a general commanding troops. Courses arrived on floating trays, each dish tagged with nutritional breakdowns and carbon scores. But no one cared about food. The real meal was status. Alex sat near the end, where shadows pooled, content to listen rather than play. Until Jordan slid into the empty chair beside them, smooth, deliberate, a move calculated to be noticed. "Surprised you had space for me," Jordan murmured, voice pitched just for Alex. Alex tilted their head. "Don't worry. I'm sure someone will remind us it's a privilege that earned a quiet laugh. You're sharper than they give you credit for. Than they give me, or than you expected." Jordan's eyes glinted. Both. The small exchange was enough to send a ripple of awareness down Alex's spine. Across the table, Bradley watched, jaw tight, as if he resented even the attention. Bradley cleared his throat loudly. "So, Alex, tell us, still doing those freelance side hustles? Or have you upgraded to, what did you call it, garage innovation?" Laughter flared. Mariana covered her mouth, feigning pity. Evelyn sighed, her disappointment loud in its silence. Alex's hand tightened on their fork. They looked at Bradley, calm as stone. "You remember what I called it?" "I'm flattered." That brought a fresh round of chuckles, though this time edged with something else. Jordan leaned closer, smirk tugging at their lips. Bradley wasn't done. "It's a shame, though, all this education, all the opportunities. And here you are, still what's the polite term, hobbyist?" Evelyn finally spoke, voice clipped. "Bradley," but the damage was done. Every eye was on Alex, waiting for them to squirm. Alex sipped their wine instead, letting silence stretch until it grew uncomfortable. Then, "Better a hobbyist than a parasite." Bradley choked on his drink, coughing into his napkin. A few cousins actually laughed, quick to smother it under Evelyn's stare. Jordan's chuckle, low and unrestrained, was the only sound that felt honest. Conversation stumbled, then tried to recover. Evelyn steered it back to Mariana's pregnancy, Carmen's influencer deals, Bradley's yacht. But the current had shifted. Jordan leaned toward Alex, their voice a blade wrapped in silk. "Funny," Jordan said suddenly, loud enough for the table. "I just realized, are you the same Alex Morales who founded Luminarch?" Silence fell. Bradley froze mid-boast. "What?" Jordan's gaze never left Alex. "I read about the project last month. Innovative, sustainable, practically revolutionary. Brilliant work fork stilled. Glasses hovered mid-air. Evelyn's posture stiffened. Alex set down their glass carefully. Their heart thundered, but their face remained composed. "Yes, that's me," gasps, murmurs. Bradley's eyes bulged. "No, that's impossible. Luminarch is everywhere. Government contracts, private sectors, they provide jobs, housing, energy independence," Jordan finished smoothly. "All without relying on the bloated corporate parasites your family tends to favor." A cousin snorted into her drink, quickly covering it with a cough. Evelyn's voice cut, sharp as crystal. "Why didn't you say anything?" Alex met her gaze evenly. "Because I don't measure worth in how loudly it's announced. The words landed like stones dropped in water. The ripples shook every corner of the room. Bradley sputtered, face red. "This is ridiculous. If it were true, we'd know. There'd be—" Jordan interrupted, smiling almost lazily. "You'd know, Bradley." "You missed the article, the interviews, the minister's speech crediting Luminarch with stabilizing the southern districts?" Bradley's mouth opened, closed. Alex let the silence hum, then added softly, "I didn't think it mattered here." "Didn't matter." Evelyn's eyes burned. "You've been sitting here letting us believe—" "What you wanted to believe," Alex said. Calm, quiet, unshaken. The table buzzed, everyone talking at once, cousins hissing jealousy, uncles demanding proof, aunts fluttering with sudden admiration. The hierarchy, once stable, trembled on the edge of collapse. And through it all, Jordan leaned back, smirk sharp, whispering just for Alex, "Guess the garage is where they keep the crown jewels." Heat licked Alex's skin. Not anger this time, something sharper, stranger, harder to mask. Dinner unraveled. Cousins who once mocked now leaned in, voices sweet with sudden interest. Carmen asked if Luminarch would sponsor her eco-brand. Bradley demanded numbers, as if clawing for a way to diminish. Alex deflected each question with measured calm, not boasting, not gloating, just facts when pressed, silence when not. It was more unnerving than arrogance. Evelyn remained still at the head, her carefully crafted narrative splintering. Every few minutes her gaze flicked to Alex like she was seeing them for the first time. Mariana finally snapped, "If this is true, why keep it hidden? Why let us—" "Because family should be more than a scoreboard," Alex said evenly. "I wanted to see if anyone remembered that." The words landed heavier than any boast. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Jordan clinked their glass softly, eyes gleaming. "Well?" "I certainly remember the look they shared was brief, charged, enough to send a pulse through Alex's veins." As plates were cleared, Bradley leaned across the table, still seething. "You think this changes anything? You'll always be—" Alex cut him off, voice soft, almost kind. "Smaller men have said worse to bigger people. It never changed the outcome." Jordan laughed aloud, unbothered by Evelyn's glare. By the end of the night, the family hierarchy had cracked. Admiration, envy, confusion, it swirled like smoke. Alex left the table not humiliated, but untouchable, their secret now undeniable truth. On the way out, Jordan matched their pace, brushing close enough for shoulders to nearly touch. "Not bad," Jordan murmured. "You barely had to lift a finger." Alex glanced sideways. Revenge without violence. It works. Jordan's smile was slow, suggestive. "Makes me wonder what else you're keeping quiet." The night air hit cold, but Alex hardly noticed. For the first time in years, they weren't walking out as the failure. They were walking out as the one who had shifted everything, silently, stylishly, without a single blow. And beside them, Jordan's presence sparked with possibility. The dining hall felt hotter than it had any right to be. Candles glowed in crystalline holders, their flickering flames swallowed by the holographic snow drifting lazily above the table. Dessert had just arrived, delicate sugar sculptures, shimmering spheres of synthesized cocoa dust plated with precision by drones. But nobody was paying attention to food, not anymore. Every cousin, aunt and uncle still reeled from the revelation Jordan had casually detonated. Alex, the so-called family underachiever, was the quiet mind behind Luminarch, a project already reshaping cities. The whispers hadn't stopped. Envy soured the air, thick as spilled wine. Evelyn sat at the head, rigid, her gaze sharp enough to slice glass. She'd lost grip on her script for the evening. For decades, she'd curated Morales family gatherings as showcases of power, pedigree, and perfection. And now, the narrative had slipped beyond her reach. Alex sat near the far end, calm, deliberate, sipping their wine as if none of this touched them. Inside, their pulse drummed, but they wore their silence like armor. Jordan lounged beside them, chin propped on one hand, eyes sparkling with unspoken mischief. The family's chatter was brittle, everyone performing, scrambling to cover discomfort. That was when Alex pushed their chair back. The scrape was soft, but it cut through conversation like a blade, a glass in hand. Not arrogance, composure. "Before dessert is wasted," Alex said, voice even, "may I?" Dozens of eyes flicked toward them, some expectant, some wary. Evelyn's brow tightened. "Keep it brief." Alex nodded once. They raised the glass, waited until silence deepened. "All night," Alex began, measured. "I've listened. Promotions, salaries, vacations, titles, badges of honor, worn like armor. I've heard laughter at others' expense, subtle digs, and not so subtle ones." Their gaze lingered on Bradley for a half beat, just enough to make him flush. No raised voice, no theatrics, just calm words that landed heavier than they should. "I've been called a hobbyist, a garage dweller," an embarrassment Alex let that hang, then smiled faintly. "You even sent me to the garage earlier. Fitting, wasn't it?" A ripple of discomfort moved around the table. A few cousins looked down at their plates. Alex continued, tone sharpening just enough. "But here's the truth. Titles fade. Salaries shift. Vacations are forgotten the moment the pictures stop trending. What lasts is what you build, who you are, how you treat people." They paused, then raised the glass slightly higher. "Lock me in a garage if you like. I'll still shine, because value doesn't come from your approval, it comes from self-respect and love." The silence afterward was stunning. Dessert plates gleamed untouched. Evelyn's jaw tightened, a twitch at the corner of her mouth betraying conflict. Some cousins shifted uncomfortably, others seemed rooted by guilt. Jordan broke the spell first, raising their own glass with a lazy grin. "To the crown jewel in the garage." A laugh, sharp, genuine, cut through tension. A few family members hesitated, then lifted their glasses too. Not everyone, but enough. Alex drank, unhurried, letting the victory settle not in triumph, but in peace. They didn't need to gloat. The message had landed. After the toast, conversation didn't return to its old rhythm. Instead, it faltered, stuttered. Bradley leaned toward Evelyn, voice low but audible. "We can't just let this—" "Enough," Evelyn hissed, eyes never leaving Alex. Mariana attempted charm. "Alex, darling, maybe Luminarch could collaborate with my husband's firm." "A joint initiative?" Alex smiled politely. "We only partner with people who believe in long-term impact, not short-term leverage." The rebuff landed, gentle but final. Carmen tried next, twirling her hair, influencer's grin plastered on. "Maybe I could feature your project. You know, for exposure." "Exposure's rarely the currency we need," Alex said dryly. Jordan chuckled, covering it with a sip of wine. The sharks circled, but Alex gave them nothing to feed on. Calm deflections, quiet truths. Each word stripped the glitter from their boasts. Finally, Evelyn rose. The matriarch moved like an old monarch, whose throne had been shaken. Her heels clicked against the marble as she walked slowly toward Alex. The table hushed, breath held. She stopped beside them, gaze drilling down. "You've surprised me tonight." Not praise, not apology, a reluctant concession. Alex met her stare without flinching. "Surprise isn't always bad." Evelyn's lips pressed thin. For a moment, the hall seemed smaller, the air denser. Then she turned sharply, addressing the table. "Enjoy your dessert. I'm retiring." And just like that, she was gone. Her absence left a vacuum. Family members exchanged glances, unsure how to fill it. Bradley muttered curses under his breath. Mariana's smile cracked. Carmen fiddled with her wristband, checking follower metrics even now. But Alex felt lighter. Not triumphant, grounded. They hadn't destroyed anyone. They hadn't needed to. They'd simply shown truth, and truth was enough. Jordan leaned in, voice low, teasing. "You just dethroned a queen without lifting a sword." Alex arched a brow. "Silent revenge." Jordan's grin curved slow, dangerous. Stylish revenge. For the first time that night, Alex let themselves laugh, quiet but real. The gathering dissolved soon after. Guests drifted out into the snowy night, their laughter forced, conversations brittle. The Morales mansion, so carefully curated to project grandeur, suddenly felt cavernous, echoing with too much silence. Alex collected their coat at the door, movements steady. The weight of the evening pressed, but not in defeat. In release. Jordan appeared beside them, already bundled in a tailored jacket, scarf looped with careless style. They offered Alex a sly smile, then casually draped their own coat over Alex's shoulders before Alex could protest. "Next year," Jordan murmured, leaning close enough for warmth to brush skin. "Let's skip the garage." Alex smirked, tugging the coat tighter. "Next year, I'm hosting." They stepped outside together. Snow fell in quiet sheets, glittering under streetlights, muffling the world. Their footsteps crunched against the path, the cold biting, though with Jordan beside them, it felt less sharp. "Do you realize," Jordan said, hands tucked in pockets, "you've just rewritten the family script? They'll never see you the same again." Alex exhaled, breath clouding the air. "That wasn't the goal, but it's satisfying. Not just satisfying." Jordan's gaze lingered, intent. "You reminded them what matters. Without shouting, without gloating, just being you." The words lodged somewhere deep. Alex didn't reply right away, choosing instead to let silence carry weight. The night, the snow, the warmth of borrowed fabric. It was enough. Finally, Alex turned, meeting Jordan's eyes. "You helped." Jordan's grin softened. "I just lit the fuse. You set off the fireworks." The tension hung there, electric, a different kind of power shift. Flirtation woven into the cold. They walked on, shoulders brushing occasionally, not by accident. At the end of the drive, Jordan stopped, tilting their head. "So, crown jewel in the garage. Where do you go from here?" Alex smiled, small but certain. "Forward, always forward." And with that, they stepped into the snowy street together, leaving the mansion and the family games behind. The night stretched ahead, blank and full of promise.